Your home for Hannity each afternoon at 3 p.m. Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
The president's executive orders
to ensure that people have money in their pockets.
That we have not yet got a deal.
The Democrats want to challenge us in court.
31 shootings and the looting.
This was an assault on our city.
To open the classroom.
It's going to be a very different kind of school year.
Postpone fall sports.
TikTok is like a Trojan horse.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. It is News and Views, new week, new day, and new news stories. How about that earthquake? I didn't feel it. I was up when the earthquake hit. I never felt anything. 8:07. So it didn't reach all the way down here. Actually, I talked to Sadie over the weekend, and she said she did feel it up there in Virginia, up near Roanoke, which, as the crow flies, Sparta, North Carolina is probably closer to Roanoke than it is to Greenville. What was interesting, though, was there's a story out of the North State Journal talking about the fact that one individual, a guy named Michael Hull, was standing in his driveway in Sparta, and he noticed a bunch of deer running across his yard, which apparently it's not highly unusual. I mean, it's a remote area, but just 8 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden these deer take off, which he thought, well, that's sort of odd. And then moments later, the ground started shaking. And according to him, it seemed like it shook for a good 60 seconds or maybe even 2 minutes. That wasn't an exact figure, but it seemed that long to him. But isn't it interesting how the deer are smarter than we are? They take off, I don't know where they were running to, but they take off sensing it was coming, and it came. Brooks Dixon, a friend of mine, noted that Governor Cooper has signed an executive order that because of the earthquake, it will now be mandatory that everyone wears a construction helmet. So with your mask, go get your construction helmet. That will be part of the Cooper mandate. First and Freedom Daily is reporting over the weekend there was a Back the Blue pro-police rally in Raleigh, and literally hundreds of people were in this rally. The Wake County Sheriff addressed the group, and they just said, "Hey, we're here for you. The police have your back. They've got our back. They're not here to hurt you." There were some other more colorful posters I can't repeat. But what's interesting is this Facebook group has over 41,000 members, and hundreds of them showed up to this Back the Blue rally. And it was, to look at the pictures, they were young, they were old, they were kids, they were adults, they were white, they were black, they were, in fact, every demographic you can think of. They were male, they were female, they were rich, they were poor. Across the board, they were there supporting the police. So, and this is not uncommon. This is beginning to pop up all over the country. The silent majority is sick and tired of the loudmouth, violent minority. And boy, have they been violent over the weekend. Portland, Chicago, New York. It gets worse all the time. In fact, I saw one picture. Someone said, "Congratulations to Bill de Blasio. He's finally figured out how to solve the traffic problem in New York City," because there is nobody downtown New York. Between the coronavirus and now between the anarchists and the Black Lives Matters and all the other craziness in New York, everybody's left. There was another pro-police rally in Fort Collins, Colorado. Go to our Facebook page, Tom and Sadie, and I've got this story up there. There's some video that you'll want to see. So there's this pro-police rally in Fort Collins, Colorado, and then a bunch of counter-protesters, some from Antifa and some from Black Lives Matter, they decided that they were going to show up. And they were going to show these pro-police rally folks that they were in charge. So they got together, and then the Antifa folks dressed in black, skinny white teenage 20-somethings. They start picking a fight. They start bugging and taunting. And at some point, unbeknownst to this article out of Fox News, they attack a Army vet who's in a wheelchair. And when they did that, it all broke loose. Now, what's interesting is in the pro-police rally group, again, there were members of all different ethnic backgrounds and ages and genders. But there was a group of men that looked like they were 50 plus, not numbers, age 50 plus. Most of them looked like they were 250 pounds plus. Some of them had some Hell's Angels vest on, for lack of a better description. Some had Army fatigues on, and some big fellas. Well, when this Antifa group decided to pick on this vet in the wheelchair, they picked on the wrong group that day. I would go watch the video. These old guys went at it. They went after these Antifa guys and beat the snot out of them. What's interesting is it was a pro-police rally. It took a few minutes. The police station was just up the street from where this all took place in a residential area. But the pro-police guys that were there rallying for the police, they didn't take it. They said, no, we're not going to sit here and take it. You're not going to run over us like you think you can run over every American. And they beat the snot out of these Antifas. I don't think that the guy and the police ended up showing up, and they ended up arresting 2 or 3 of the Antifa type. And the Antifa type, they even wanted to start fighting with the police. I mean, the bottom line is they want to get arrested. But I don't know that they're going to, if they see a bunch of old vets, I don't care if they're 250 pounds and 60 years old, I don't think they're going to pick on them again. Just saying. And quite frankly, I don't want to sound morbid, but I got a smile on my face. I laughed out loud when I saw these punks getting their fannies smacked by a bunch of old vets who said, we ain't going to put up with it anymore. And quite frankly, it's about time somebody took these punks out to the woodshed. Yes. And look, here's the thing, too. If the police can't or won't do their job, I think you're going to see more of this. And I'm not promoting vigilantism, but quite frankly, when a bunch of punks attack some guy in a wheelchair, if I was there, I'd have jumped in and thrown a punch. I might have gotten my clock cleaned. But you know what? God bless them. Portland police officers were wounded in a mortar attack. 16 arrested during violent Antifa riots. Portland Police Department arrested numerous rioters Sunday night as the city continues to grapple with Antifa. Of course, Donald Trump wants to send in the National Guard and the folks up in Portland. No. The idea that these authoritarians refuse to take any help from the president, I think it's twofold. For one reason, they don't take any help from the president because it would actually solve the problem, and Trump might get the credit. But secondly, they just want the anarchy to continue, so that they think somehow this is going to destroy the president. I think every day that this violence goes on, it's helping the president. Now, it's not helping our country, but people are attaching this violence with Joe Biden. By the way, there's a story out this afternoon that a bunch of black male leaders, 100 of them, have signed a letter sent over to Joe Biden, and I think he'll fold on this. He'll agree to this, but the letter went public today, and it's saying that you better pick a black woman as your running mate, or you will lose the election. Now, is that a threat, or is that a promise, or is that a prediction? Quite frankly, the people that he is considering right now, I don't think any of them are going to help his candidacy. I mean, the name of Susan Rice continues to come up over and over again. The woman, you can just see the television commercials getting ready to come on with Susan Rice lying about the Benghazi attack and carrying the water for Donald Trump, and the fact that she wrote this memo during that infamous meeting in January concerning Michael Flynn and the whole Russian investigation, about how Barack Obama says, "Oh, let's go do it. Make sure we do everything by the book." I don't see that happening. Quite frankly, I don't see Kamala Harris. I mean, first of all, Kamala Harris, she has that irritating personality and that irritating voice, which I can't stand. But she is not going to win over a lot of black liberals with her stance with law enforcement in California. How in the world are they going to pick her when she just attacked Joe Biden, calling him a racist? So they're going to have her as the running mate, but Donald Trump's going to be running commercials from the debates when she was calling Joe Biden a racist. I just don't see it. And the other gal, what's the other gal's name? I can never remember her name, but I mean, she's a Fidel Castro wannabe. And those are the people she's considering. The only one that he could possibly pick that might help him is Mayor Bottoms out of Atlanta. We'll see. 561-8255. We got some folks that want to get on with us. Let's take our break first, Clark, and then we'll come back to some of these phone calls. Lots to talk about. Monday's edition of News and Views. Stay with us. More to come. We'll be right back.
Divorce is never easy, but there's a right way and a wrong way. At A&R Law, the law firm of Ashley Nicole Russell, healthy divorce is what they emphasize. For the greater good of everyone, there's a way for a divorce with integrity for both sides. That's why Ashley Nicole Russell wants you to know you have options. At A&R Law, their focus is to help you and protect your children. Traditional litigation settlements are very costly and no one really wins. Ashley Nicole Russell initiated the concept of collaborative divorce in Eastern Carolina, and it's helped countless families. Ashley Nicole literally wrote the book on this concept, The Cure for Divorce Culture, and she speaks all over the country to help promote the idea of healthy divorce. If you're currently experiencing conflict, please call the offices in Greenville, Beaufort, or Raleigh and let them walk you through the steps that can lead to a positive, life-changing experience for you and your children. Learn more at anrlaw.com. Attorney Ashley Nicole Russell can show you a better way to divorce.
In this coronavirus crisis, leadership matters. Because of quick action by Senator Tom Tillis, North Carolina is getting what we need to fight this pandemic, securing millions of dollars for our hospitals to save lives and helping small businesses save more than 1 million jobs. Now, Senator Tillis is proposing a plan of action to get vital aid to North Carolina families. The Tillis plan? More COVID-19 testing, child care assistance for families, ensuring the health and safety of students, and more help for small businesses. Senator Tillis.
We've got to make sure that people who are struggling to pay for food, pay for rent, pay their mortgages, that we give them the resources that they need.
Call Senator Tom Tillis at 704-509-9087 and tell him to work in the Senate for the Tillis Plan of Action. Keep fighting for North Carolina families and keep saving our jobs. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
In the studio with Natalie Ains from Simply Natural Creamery. And Natalie, Simply Natural is now all over Eastern North Carolina.
That's correct, Henry. So we have our farm in Greene County. We have a store in Greenville and Arlington. And now we have a new store in Morehead City on Arundel Street.
What makes the ice cream and the milk so good at Simply Natural?
Well, Simply Natural is a Jersey-only cow farm. So that means our girls produce higher quality milk, which is 20% higher in butter fat. And it also allows people who are lactose intolerant to enjoy all of our products because of a special protein they carry.
Do you offer education tours and that kind of thing on the farm?
We do, that's correct. So 10 months out of the year, families and schools can come and visit and learn a little bit about what we do at Simply Natural.
Simply Natural Creamery, folks, if you've never had it, it is so good. Natalie, tell us again where the locations for Simply Natural stores are.
So we have our farm that we process all of our products in Greene County, and then we have our store in Arlington and Greenville, North Carolina, and Arundel Street in Morehead City. From our farm to your family, Simply Natural Creamery is just simply delicious.
Everybody wants to reopen the schools.
It's time.
We have to open the schools. We have to get them open.
World events can change in an instant.
How do you know if it's safe?
Hour by hour, minute by minute.
We don't want folks to fall behind.
And if you're not listening,
You look at the data.
important details could pass you by. If you want to keep up, keep it here with your news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. 21 minutes past the top of the hour. Take a look at your weather forecast. If you like today, well, repeat for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Chance of showers each day. Chance of precip anywhere from 30 to 50%. Highs each day around 90. Lows in the evening around 73, 74. It's just going to be carbon copies each day going in every day of this week all the way through the weekend. The liberal media has been completely ignoring Joe Biden's mental decline, his bizarre statements, his overt racism. And I mean, yeah, overt racism. Can you imagine if a conservative, if Donald Trump would say the things that Joe Biden says? And yet Joe Biden gets a total pass, and Donald Trump's the one that's called a racist. Why? Because he wants to protect the border. He wants to protect the border. He wants to have a secure border in there. That's why he's a racist. Joe Biden, on the other hand, can say you've got to have an Indian accent to work at a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts. He gets a pass. The worst of all is this Brian Stelter from CNN. Over the weekend, he came out and basically said that Cousin Eddie riding a bike proves that he is mentally fit. This is unbelievable. And then Steve Ducey apparently was recording Joe Biden riding a bike. He throws a question out to Joe Biden, something, have you decided to pick a running mate? Joe Biden replies, yeah, I have. And Ducey has said, well, who is it? And Biden says, you. And so then Brian Stelter, he's really excited then because Joe Biden not only can ride a bike, but he can tell a joke at the same time. So Brian Stelter, George Costanza, he looks just like George Costanza. He says that Joe Biden riding a bike proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that Uncle Joe could ride a bike, answer a question at the same time. That is proof that he is mentally fit.
Every day, this is what's airing on the radio. There's Michael Savage saying, I pity the man. There's Mark Levin saying, I think Biden's in a nursing home. What the heck is going on these programs? Look at what Fox News saw on Saturday at Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. This is Joe Biden out there on a vigorous bike ride. Not wearing a helmet, but definitely wearing a mask, by the way. Fox's narrative and talk radio's narrative for months has been that Joe Biden is falling apart. You just heard Ben Shapiro say it, falling apart. And there he is riding a bike, out for a bike ride, and Fox, of all networks, is the one that showed it happen.
He is falling apart. Are you that blind that you can't see it? Just go back and look at the guy from 12 years ago to today. He is falling apart. And by the way, this wasn't like he was running in some marathon deal and he was really showing off. The guy was weaving in and out of the bike lane. I mean, he looked shaky at best. And had he gone down, it might have killed him. Anyway, that's now that's the bar you've got to meet, according to CNN. If you can ride a bike and tell a joke at the same time, then you're fit to be president. 561-8255. John from Jacksonville has been on hold. Hey, John.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you.
Good, man. I've been waiting all day to talk to you about this, and then I'll go on to another topic. But one, ECU football, man. We're looking at, and I know this has nothing to do, and I don't want to take the power away from what you're talking about, but we're looking at, Pac-12 and all of them canceling football.
Big Ten,
what's going to happen with the AAC?
I don't know.
Especially my season tickets for the Pirates.
I don't know. You might be getting a check in the mail.
Yeah, well, what I would ask for you guys to do is if you would be in a media deal, if you would just ask that question or get somebody to answer those questions, what's going to happen to our season tickets? Are they going to be spring tickets? Because I can't do spring. My son plays baseball.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I can't. I have no inside scoop. Although I will say this, I know people that are very close to Mike and Amanda Houston, and they don't know. Bottom line is they don't. If they do know, they're keeping it secret. I can just tell you. Yeah. It's and I don't think they're trying to be secretive. I honestly don't think they know, and I think. If these major conferences fold, then they're going to fold. And then I suppose you could have a conference schedule and just play people within your conference, but I don't know.
And I mean, I know the only reason I brought it up is I know there's hundreds of others just like me that are thinking the same thing. What's going to happen to my season ticket?
Well, here's the question I don't understand. If they had a spring season, how are they going to turn around and immediately have a fall season? Just months later. I mean, you have to give some time to recoup and heal, and certainly, now they might have a mini spring season, I suppose, but it's not going to be a full-fledged season. There's no way they can get it all in. It's just too much work. So I don't. Go ahead.
Second thing is back to what you were talking about. You brought up actually some good deals on hypocrisy, and I as a conservative, man, it's really been eating at me. We condemn Roy Cooper, and I full-fledged do, for his mask mandate because he did it unilaterally. But we jump up and down and turn backflips because Trump unilaterally extends unemployment benefits. When are we going to get on the path of the Constitution and who has what power?
Well, actually, that's interesting you bring that up. Let me get to that article. Because according to, what do I do with that article? His secretary, here it is. Of course, you're referring to what the executive order that Trump signed over the weekend, which, assuming it goes through, and that might be a big assumption, signed 4 executive actions. One would give $400 weekly federal unemployment aid. What's interesting about this is, this would be in addition to the state unemployment. And the state unemployment varies. Now, of course, a lot of people that went on state unemployment, it's perhaps already run out. So this would be, for some people, it would just be this $400. But if you just went on to state unemployment, for example, a low in Mississippi is $235 a week. In Massachusetts, the unemployment benefit in Massachusetts is $1,234 per week. Take $400 in addition to that, and you're looking at approximately $1,600 a week. That annualizes out to $83,000 a year.
Yeah.
I hear you. I don't, I think there might be and then people say, well, you got to do it equal for everyone, do you? I don't know. Then he's going to give some assistance to renters and homeowners, saying that you're not going to be allowed to be evicted. Which, honestly, among other things, I have a rental property. If suddenly somebody said, well, you don't have to pay your rent and you can't be evicted, that's going to put a lot of landlords who need that rent money to pay the mortgage. There's going to be a domino effect. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out either. But what you're
exactly
what you're referring to is the payroll tax holiday.
What I'm referring to is the extension of the unemployment benefits, because it is a fiscal appropriation that is totally left to Congress.
Well, apparently he does have the authority to move money from the FEMA Disaster Relief Fund, which would divert $44 billion from that fund to cover the unemployment program. And so the extra unemployment help would last until December 6th, or until the disaster relief fund balance the balance drops to $25 billion, whichever occurs first. So that's how they're.
You live in eastern North Carolina. What happens come mid-September when we get a Florence? And then he says, "Oh, we've been."
I'm not justifying it, John. I'm just telling you how the maneuvering that he's doing. But on the payroll tax holiday, apparently, according to Forbes, the authority for taking action is found in the tax code, specifically Section 7508A, which begins, in the case of a taxpayer determined by the Secretary of the Treasury, to be affected by a federally declared disaster. And right now, Donald Trump, back, when was it? On March 13th, the President of the United States issued an emergency declaration, and that was under the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, which took place, when was that passed? I think back in 2019, perhaps. Anyway, so theoretically, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, John. I'm just saying he's dotted his I's and crossed his T's, and so when Queen Nancy comes out and says that it's unconstitutional, apparently they did their homework and they're saying, no, this is how we're going to pull it off.
Yeah, and I don't listen to her. She's useless. But
editorial comment by John from Jacksonville.
Yeah, but as far as the taxes go, it's not negating the tax. It's just delaying when I have to pay it. Because
yes, you're correct, and that's going to be the other part of this. That's going to be a real shock to the system. Now, I'm wondering, are they going to come in just like they did with the PPP? And of course, in the PPP up front, they said, well, we think it's going to be a forgivable loan, and then it ended up being a forgivable loan. But are they going to try to do that with this? Because, look, there's going to be a lot of people that don't pay attention, unlike what you've done, John. A lot of people aren't going to pay attention, and they're going to end up saying, hey, I've got all this extra money in my pocket. They're going to go out and spend it, and suddenly they're going to have this enormous tax bill when they do their taxes next year. Of course, maybe Donald Trump is figuring, well, that's after the election. But yeah.
You're right. You look at electricity or utilities, cell phones, cable, when they said, hey, we're not going to cut those off, they're still mounting up a bill. Yep. And all of a sudden, you're going to have people come in and say, oh, well, you owe us $1,000 for your cell phone, or you owe us $1,000 for...
Well, especially for your rent payment. I mean, you could, goodness, 2 or 3 months, and you're looking, thousands of dollars. So yeah, it's
so. But what about the homeowner? The actual, and I hate to say homeowner. Well, it is the homeowner, or landlord. I hate to say that word, but landlord. So he's got a loan.
And that's why I say the dominoes will start to fall. Yeah. And it's going to be an ugly mess.
From what I read, is they're only doing rent, Tom. So they're doing rent to say, hey, tenants don't have to pay rent. But if there's a mortgage still on that house,
real quickly, let me rent, John. Let me read this. Congress passed the CARES Act in March that issued a 120-day temporary eviction moratorium on renters in federal housing-assisted programs or those who live in a property with federally backed mortgage. The eviction moratorium expired in July. Trump's executive action would encourage federal efforts to help renters and homeowners avoid eviction or foreclosure for failing to make their monthly payments. He directs his administration to identify available funds to provide temporary financial assistance to renters and homeowners who, as a result of the financial hardships caused by COVID-19, are struggling to meet their monthly rental or mortgage obligations. Now, but these loans go through banks, and so it's going to be, the banks at this point, they're going to have the headache of juggling these dollars. But apparently they're federal guaranteed loans or federal housing projects in which they're saying, okay, we're going to make sure you don't get evicted. So that's how that's going to work.
Living in marine country down here, we have guys PCS all the time, have to move, they'll go to California or South Carolina or wherever, and they rent their houses out that they've bought. So if they're going to get that protection, I'm good with that. If we're going to stick our veterans or our active duty Marines with, hey, you're renting your house out and you got to keep paying the monthly mortgage, but they don't have to pay you rent, I'm not good with that.
Right. Hey, John, we got other people waiting. Thanks for the call. Great stuff. And it's not easy. Unfortunately, I think, it's just my opinion, I think Donald Trump is being backed into the political corner where he feels like he has got to do something to help the American people. If he did nothing, they're going to count him, and the media is just going to be incredibly hard on the guy, saying he's thoughtless, he doesn't care about the American people, and while it's going to cost billions of dollars, he's sort of turned the tables on Nancy Pelosi, who really thought she had the upper hand by, demanding that it be $600 a week, thinking that they're going to have to give in. And, of course, her bill had all kinds of garbage in it, money for things that we don't want to support. Again, I mentioned this last week. A part of her bill called for not allowing any kind of verification for mail-in ballots, authorization, or signatures required, those kind of things, that she was going to toss that out the window. That was a part of her bill. Unbelievable. William, hang on the line. We've got to take another time out. We'll get back to your phone call as soon as we get back. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
GoEco is the office equipment company that people all over eastern North Carolina are turning to for their office copier and equipment needs. GoEco sells and services Canon copiers and office products. They have a great service team that's quick to respond when you need them. We here at Interbanks Media just made the switch to GoEco, and they're saving us money in printing costs. Other businesses in and around Greenville are making the switch too. Dirk's Chiropractic switched over a year ago and saved money. GoEco bought out their existing lease, and Dirk's Chiropractic received better products fitting their needs. In fact, GoEco has saved local clients who have switched over $178,000. Oh, and some businesses might qualify for no payments until 2021. Call Area Sales Director Tom Watkins at GoEco for a free consultation today. 252-227-0581 or email info@goeconc.com. Save money by switching to GoEco.
Need $1,000 to $10,000 immediately for a gift for someone special, car repairs, or unexpected expenses? Time Financing Service offers competitive loan rates. Apply online and get your answer in less than an hour in most cases. Then you can pick up the cash at any of our 24 convenient locations. Apply online 24/7 at timefinancing.com. That's timefinancing.com.
We're putting the money on you. Time Financing Service.
Are you scheduled for a minor or major surgery in the upcoming months? Advantage Therapy Solutions offers light and laser therapy as a painless treatment proven to increase the success of your surgery by reducing inflammation, the risk of scar tissue buildup, and enabling faster wound healing. One study, considering 370 papers reviewing its effectiveness, said laser therapy is an appropriate modality with no side effects for reducing post-operative pain. The results we see in our office benefits are remarkable, increasing successful recovery while reducing pain in a safe way. Call Advantage Therapy Solutions today at 689-8729 to expedite your postoperative healing and reduce your pain. Call to schedule a free consultation and free first treatment, or visit our website for more information at AdvantageTherapySolutions.com. Our team can't wait to help you recover faster with less pain.
Summer means sun and fun, and Bertie County peanuts are a summertime family favorite. Small batch, hand-cooked, and 100% guaranteed, Bertie County peanuts are perfect at the beach, on the river, or sitting on the front porch watching the day go by. Order online at BertieCountyPeanuts.net, give them a call at 800-457-0005, or drop by and taste the tradition at Powell & Stokes in Windsor. Bertie County Peanuts, North Carolina's best summertime snack.
It's time for America to get back up. The countdown to November 3rd continues.
2020 is looking really easy.
Now it's back to news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back. 561-8255. William has been on the hold. Hey, William, how you doing?
Doing good. Hope you are, Tom.
I am. Good to hear from you.
Look, I want to know this. What he's saying, this payroll tax rollback. Is that your Social Security they're not going to take out and put it in the federal Social Security thing, or is it?
All right. What? Let me read to you from this synopsis. Trump defers the payroll tax from September 1st to December 31st, 2020 for employees making $100,000 or less a year. The tax deducted from workers' paychecks funds Social Security and Medicare. Employees would need to repay the federal government once the tax holiday ends without further action. So, yeah, that's what he's talking about, your Social Security and Medicare, your FICA.
So, in other words, I mean, I work. I'm 68 years old. I work every day. I'm a mandatory employee. Mm-hmm. I work with the state government.
Mm-hmm.
Those people that are going to get that money, spend it when January comes, then they're going to have a dime to pay that Social Security back.
Bingo.
And there they go. Then their Social Security is going to be cut for their retirement.
If they're not careful, and unless that's forgiven, you're right. I mean, that would be the logical conclusion that, okay, well, because you owe us X number of dollars, instead of taking your Social Security when you turn, whatever the age is, 66 and 6 months.
Well, I'm planning on waiting until 70.
Right, but whatever it would be, if you owe them that money, I would assume that they would take that away from you when you go to start collecting Social Security.
Unless you're unemployed. If you're unemployed, then you can take it. But if you're employed, you're a fool to take it.
Well, and $100,000 is that's a pretty high level to say, okay, that's the cutoff. I know he's trying to help as many people as he can, and I suppose if you're Donald Trump, $100,000 seems like peanuts, but for the rest of us poor working people, that's a lot of money.
Well, it is a lot of money, and I don't make $100,000 either, but I'm looking more worried about what am I going to get out of my Social Security.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, William, thanks for the call.
If you're going to get it, you better save it so you can pay it back.
Yes, you're exactly right. Hey, before we go back to the phones, I do want to cover this one story. A friend of mine sent this to me. It's from WHP out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And you're probably not aware of this, but this House bill, H.R. 7608, has passed the House. Republicans, all the Republicans have voted against it. All the Democrats, 7 Democrats voted against it, 224 voted for it, so it passed H.R. 7608. This decision by the U.S. House would have all Confederate monuments, statues, and commemorative placards removed from all our national military parks, including Gettysburg, Vicksburg, Antietam, Chickamauga, Manassas, Petersburg, Fredericksburg, and 18 other battlefields. They're going to remove statues, commemorative placards, anything that has to do with the Confederacy that's on national land is going to be removed. According to one individual, the legislation in question, H.R. 7608, would direct National Park Service to remove all Confederate monuments, memorials, placards, and statues at those different sites that I just mentioned to you, plus 18 others. This individual says that the Civil War battlefields and their monuments and plaques have been preserved to help Americans and foreign guests visualize and understand the terrible ordeal that forged this nation. Who is the... I thought I had her name here. The woman from New York who proposed this. Yeah, Nita Lowey, I guess is how you pronounce it, Lowey. She is, to quote Archie Bunker, that dingbat from New York. It passed the House, as I mentioned, on July the 24th, 2020, 224 to 189. And what you need to do is take down these telephone numbers and call Tom Tillis and Richard Burr and make sure that they vote no on H.R. 7608. I mean, this is a ridiculous bill. Why is it so bad? Charles Krauthammer, back before he passed away in 2017, was on the air, and he was asked about the removal of these monuments. This is probably the best response I've heard for why we need to have some common sense on this issue.
Every monument has a different history, content, and context. And if we were rational, this isn't exactly a rational moment. Some of the statues were sincerely held tributes, some of them by the Union, to their fallen comrades in the Confederacy as a symbol of reconciliation and sort of the better angels. I will commend your viewers to go to Arlington National Cemetery. Remember, the cemetery of the Victorious Union. Go to section 16. It is devoted to a monument to the Confederate soldiers buried there, arrayed around this monument, with a very touching inscription speaking about these men, these Confederates, in simple obedience to duty as they understood it. These men suffered all, sacrificed all, dared all, and died. I mean, that is such a touching, magnanimous recognition of the enemy. You wouldn't want to touch that. That is almost sacred, what that is. Now, on the other hand, 100 years later, many southern states put up statues to the Confederacy as symbols of not the Civil War, but of their resistance to civil rights and to Supreme Court rulings and desegregation. That's a very different category, and that's where I think it's far more problematic. But that's why I think it's simply a mistake to say categorically yes, we keep them all, categorically no, we take them all away.
Now, what really is irritating about this bill, too, is this provision to remove the Confederate monuments and markers was buried deep within a 727-page bill. They always do this. They always, when they're not proud of the bill, they know it wouldn't pass if people could actually see what was in there. So they take it and they hide it inside some appropriations bill, and that's exactly what they did. It's buried within a 727-page bill that funds the State Department, Agriculture Department, and the EPA. Now, despite House action, there's still an opportunity to save the Civil War parks by urging the Senate to remove this provision from the final funding legislation. So what you need to do is you need to call Tom Tillis and Richard Burr and say, remove the Civil War Parks the Civil War Parks part of H.R. 7608. Tillis's number in D.C., 202-224-6342. Burr's number in D.C. is 202-224-3154. Google them if you don't remember those numbers. But again, it's H.R. 7608, and tell them to remove the Confederate monuments and markers provision within that bill. Unbelievable. But they want to rewrite history. I don't know what they're going to rewrite it to, but idiots. 561-8255. Who do we have on the line? David is on the line. Hey, Dave.
Hey, how you doing today, Tom?
I'm doing well.
Bearing in mind how close run a thing it was for our president to stay in office, considering the part, no pun intended, trumped up impeachment.
Yep.
November. I want your opinion. Let's just say that the Republican Party takes a shellacking in November.
I don't even want to think about it, but go ahead.
Retain the House. They retain the House. They get the Senate. They get the White House. What's our country going to look like 2 years down the road?
Well, it could be pretty bad. I mean, if the thing that I don't understand is how in the world it hasn't been that long ago that we were just totally down in the dumps under the Obama economy.
Oh, I know.
Totally in the dumps. And, we were looking at unemployment of 9% as the new norm. Now, granted, right now the unemployment is about 10%, but that's because of the COVID-19. But do people really want to go back to that? And you stop and think. I mean, you stop and look at Venezuela, and people say, unfortunately say, well, that's there, this is here. But look how quickly the economy sank under Obama. If you were to get Joe Biden, and look, Joe Biden is not going to be the president, even if he's elected. Joe Biden
He'll be the mouthpiece.
Well, he's whoever the puppet master is will be pulling the strings, and it won't be long before they completely cut the strings. I mean, Brian Stelter is all upset that the Republicans are pointing out the fact that Joe Biden is brain dead. If he is elected, within days, the Democrats will say, hey, you know what, Republicans, you're right. He is brain dead. We need to change the president. We need to go ahead and put the vice president in charge because he's incapable of running the country. And suddenly the Republicans are going to be geniuses, and they knew all along that he was brain dead, and then the Democrats will be agreeing with us. However, David, I will say be of good cheer. We need to work hard. We don't need to take it for granted, but I just have a hard time conceiving that the American people are that stupid, and everything that the far left is doing. Why do you think they're going to win an election with these antics? I mean, when you have revolutions in other parts of the world, the revolutions are usually because things are so bad. Under Donald Trump, things were really going well when they decided to have this revolution. David, we have got to. I'm up against the clock, brother. I've got to take a timeout. Sorry about that. This hour has flown by. We got to have one last timeout. I'll be right back.
When you need to hire a mover, call the A-Team, Advanced Moving and Storage, the Ace Movers of Eastern North Carolina. We do everything we can to make a move less stressful for you and your family. Everything from buying your things in your house if you're downsizing to taking you across the country. We do it all.
For 27 years, Advanced Moving and Storage has provided local, intrastate, and interstate moving for our residential and commercial clients.
We offer short and long-term storage. We also offer moving services for pianos, gun safes. We can move it all.
10 years ago, we started a sister company, the Loose Goose. We purchase things that you don't want anymore. We do anything we can to make it easier for you.
So come by and check us out at Advanced Moving and the Loose Goose.
We're located on 4 Lines Road in Winterville, turn beside Harbor Freight and Harley Davidson.
Remember, call the A-Team, 252-321-3200.
252-321-3200.
It's not just a home or a car. It's your Ultra HD flat screen you bought just in time for football season. And that third car so your team can drive to practice. While other insurance companies just see them as a bundle or combo, State Farm agent Merle Green and his team sees your home and car as things you work really hard for. Merle understands what they mean to you and is here to help you give them the protection they deserve. Talk with State Farm agent Merle Green and his licensed staff in Williamston for your home and auto insurance today.
I'm Dan Forrest, and I'm running for governor. Here's the simple truth. People need to work to live, so open the economy. Elderly people are dying of COVID, so protect the nursing homes. Kids need to be in school so they can learn, and parents can work, so open the schools. Our state needs a governor who has a plan beyond staying shut down forever. So elect Dan Forrest for governor. It's that simple. Paid for by the Committee to Elect Dan Forrest.
Here's the best deal going this summer for family fun in Greenville, particularly for you tennis players. Wimbledon Tennis and Recreation Center is now offering a special rate. Just $60 per person or $75 per family with just a $200 initiation fee. Get in the game with great summer activities, including Wimbledon's beautiful pool, 3 indoor high-quality tennis courts, and 4 beautiful hydro-grid outdoor clay courts. Your membership includes tennis, pool, and listen to this, it includes membership in their fitness center with lots of equipment and weight training. There are summer camps for kids and adult classes from their USTA on-site pro, Will Bissett. If you're not a golfer, why pay country club dues when you can enjoy tennis year-round and pickleball and their crystal-clear 65,000-gallon pool? All for the low monthly payment of $60 per single, $75 per family. Call Whitney Sauter now for a free tour. 252-916-5333. 916-5333. Get in the game this summer with Wimbledon Tennis and Recreation Center, right in the heart of Greenville off Arlington Boulevard on Wimbledon Drive.
Back to news and views. Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Fox News is reporting a guy named Justin Wilson, 26-year-old male of Germantown, Maryland, was caught and put in jail, but he got a break earlier this year when a judge freed him from jail for coronavirus precaution. Now Wilson is back in custody after allegedly stabbing a man to death during his release. Wilson was awaiting trial on theft and other charges when a Montgomery County judge ordered him released in April. This according to Fox 5 Washington. Then on July the 23rd, Wilson allegedly got involved in a struggle with Ed Lindsay, 63, also of Germantown. A relative of Lindsay's told police Wilson was holding a knife. Lindsay later died of stab wounds after being taken to the hospital. The relative said Wilson had been to the home weeks earlier, after which several silver coins were noticed to be missing from the home. After an investigation, Wilson was arrested on July the 28th on first-degree murder charges. So, now here's the thing. We knew this was going to happen. In fact, I predicted this when judges started letting these guys go and the judicial said, empty the jails, they might get the COVID. We said this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. So we need to find out who this judge is, and he needs to be arrested for criminal negligence. Criminal negligence refers to conduct in which a person ignores a known or obvious risks or disregards the life and safety of others. Federal and state courts describe this behavior as a form of recklessness where the person acts significantly different than an ordinary person under similar circumstances, and that is exactly what happened here. Numerous people, besides myself, predicted if you let these guys go, somebody's going to get killed, and that's exactly what happened. And this guy needs to be, not just malfeasance, he needs to be arrested for criminal negligence. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow. Do it again. Bye-bye, everybody.
Fantastic Sam's Cut and Color is hiring stylists. If you're driven, creative,